Hey, 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 it's me, Mark, and you join me, plus Snake Eyes, as depicted by Jamie Sullivan after Frank Miller, to look at the Snake Eyes Silent Interlude RAW book. So it is this book here, RAW. There it is. The cover looks like this. And back to me. So it's this book here. It's a slightly oversized book. So here it is compared up to the more standard comic book sized hardcover as released by IDW, reprinting Silent Interlude a few years ago. So let's measure this bad boy. It is oversized. It is 8.5 inches by 12 inches. That's just over 30 centimeters by 8.5 inches, just over 21 centimeters. So what is this book? Well, here's the website. It's a comic site in France, specializing in French language comic books and adaptations of American comic books. So the site is originalcomics.fr, and on my screen over here I've got the Google translated version of the site, so you can see it in English. So G.I. Joe Silent Interlude RAW, Larry Hama, Exclusivity, Original Comics, 250 copies. And as at time of speaking, I believe there are about 152 copies left. It is a price of €29 before postage, so you'll need to add that on. And what does it say about it? It's obviously by Larry Hama. It's his famous story all about Snake Eyes and the introduction of the concept of the Arashikage ninja clan, all in black and white. It's called RAW version. It's a hardcover, large format, limited to 250 copies. It is just the original story, no extras beyond that. So it's a relatively slim 28 pages, and it's posted by Weta Comics. It is French language, but as G.I. Joe fans, I'm sure you'll remember, it is sans words. Yeah. So because it's French, it doesn't matter that there is no that it's not in French, because it is actually wordless. The only thing that you would notice that as being French is probably in the credits at the very far back there, adaptation et publication. And also the fact that on the spine, it's got a different sort of there's different layouts to the typical Western comic like that. So it's sort of running in the in a different aspect to we would normally see. It's flipped around. So yeah, let's have a little look into the detail of the book itself. Here's the cover. It's an interesting shot. It's a blown up panel from the inside, and flicking through you'll see why it's got 28 pages. That's because some of those initial ones are blank. So here's page number 1, and what you'll notice and what Tim would like is that it's not a glossy paper stock. It's a kind of slightly matte. It's got a little bit of grain to it, so that's quite nice to have from a kind of a tactile point of view. And what this is here is not the original pages or panels. It is the raw inked version, presumably from files that are at Hasbro or IDW. So if we compare to that same first page to page 1 from the original 21 in colour, and as reprinted here, you can see it's essentially the same image, and it's the same underlying black and white. It's just that colour layer has been entirely stripped out. And what this earlier edition has that is not in that other edition are the breakdowns. So this is the book that you want, really, if you want to see the actual raw line art from Larry Hama and inks by Steve Lealola. So it's a different but interesting parallel kind of journey along these pages. So here's that famous page of Snake Eyes jumping out of the transport plane, for example. Great details, but you can see that the lines here are much kind of in a sketchier raw format. So let's flick over to the other book, to that same page. Where are you, Snake Eyes? Here we go. It's looking much more polished and finished, because this is the actual finished production art that was used when making this book as a finished publication. So yeah, don't need to show you too much more. It's the story we know and love, but seeing the finished black and white art is a satisfying experience, and it does bring it to it does feel different to what we are used to seeing. So for example, this great panel of Scarlet here, you can really make out some of the fine line work, brush strokes. Clearly it looks like almost dry brush or some lines of charcoal in the hair of Scarlet. So probably not an essential purchase, but yeah, an interesting curiosity, and for G.I. Joe fans who are big fans, particularly of the Silent Interlude issue, it's a great way of seeing the art blown up and at that larger scale, and be able to kind of really appreciate the black and white line work from Hama and Lealola, unencumbered by colour. So hope you enjoyed that little exploration into the detail of the Silent Interlude, new Silent Interlude book. You can join us at talkingjoe.co.uk. That's the website that holds all the details to the normal show. Join us for the weekly podcast. And I think that's it from me, because when all is said and done, you can catch us down the road. Because we're the Talking Joe. And we're all out of Joes. Laters.